What is happening, everyone? This is GBall, and I have an exciting knife here to unbox for you, coming in from CJRB. This is actually a brand spanking new release for them called the Latitude. A lot of you are going to really like this one. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome to GBall Vision. Drop a comment below. Let me know what your carry is looking like today. You always get a nice little package from CJRB, and inside is going to be our knife. This is the completely murdered out version of the brand spanking new Latitude. I believe this is CJRB's first button top liner lock, which a lot of people are going to be hooting and hollering about like they have for the last year or so, about wanting these locks on pretty much everything. Artisan has been dabbling with the button top liner lock on their premium models. They have 3 or 4 of them now, but those cost quite a bit of money. The cool thing about the Latitude is these are going to be coming in around $55 depending on where you're looking, but on the CJRB website and Amazon, they are right there at $55. There's at least 2 different versions here for the kickoff of the knife that I've seen. These actually seem like they're going to be a pretty good size, closer to 8 inches, at least what I'm guessing. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. We do have their RPM 9 steel and then a full textured G10 handle over top of steel liners, and they do recess those liners to make it look nice and clean. A deep carry clip, and it is going to be left hand friendly. Even have a lanyard tube there. This has a little bit of flair with the lanyard tube and the collars all matching in that anodized blue. This is a good looking knife. Let's get a look here at size on this guy. I did want to talk a little bit about the RPM 9. 8 inches overall with 3 inches of cutting edge and 3.5 of total blade. For some size comparisons, we have the Spyderco Para 3 up top and the PM2 on the bottom, and it's going to sit right in between both of those. And 2 more, we have the Benchmade Bug Out up top and the Kershaw Bel Air XL on the bottom. And you can see the Latitude, it's going to be even a little bit bigger than something like the Bel Air XL. We'll get the 50 ways baked in GBall Vision Hank out here and get a look at this pocket clip. It is their standard deep carry clip. It's going to work well for carrying the knife. Aesthetically, it looks pretty good, nothing too fancy, and for ergonomics, it works well in the hand. They've been using this clip for quite a while. It actually went through a couple of different iterations, and they landed on this one, which I think was a solid pick. It's pretty neutral. I wouldn't mind seeing companies, I know it would cost a little bit more up front, but I think it would be cool to maybe have at least 2 different styles of standard clips. And that's not just picking on CJRB or anything like that. Every company pretty much does that same exact thing. I'd like to see a little bit of variance, much like steels. I'd like to see some variance in the steels, handle materials, and, design of the pocket clip. Takes me to the steel on this knife, the RPM 9. A lot of people don't understand why that was even created. It actually was done by Artisan, created by them, has been gone over by Laren Thomas, who is a metallurgist. I would say Laren found a couple of discrepancies, mainly that this is a spray foam steel, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was initially marketed as a powder metallurgy, but it is a spray foam, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not particle metallurgy. The underlying reason they wanted to create this steel was to have something similar to D2, but have better corrosion resistance. Now, they actually accomplished that. This does have better corrosion resistance than D2. It's also got better toughness than D2 does. Now, the edge retention is going to be comparable, but not quite as good as D2. So it's pretty decent. Not up at the D2 level, which D2 has pretty good edge retention, but the steel is made up of a finer structure than something like D2, so it actually is going to hold an edge fairly close to something like D2. So all in all, for a knife that is 50, 60 bucks, RPM 9 is a good option in my opinion. And I've always thought that it was a good option to have in addition to stuff like 14C, Nitro V, because it just depends on what you're looking for, you know, as to which steel you're going to choose. Get the arch nemesis out here and give this bad boy a weight check. Now I like to play a little game here on the channel with the new knives that come in. I attempt to guess the weight, and I always invite you to play along. You put your guess down in the comments, ounces or grams, whichever you prefer. Even if you already have a comment down there, go ahead and put your guess. And if you're enjoying this video, you like knives and gear, you're in the right place. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and ring that bell. I'm going to give it a go. I can say it feels like it has a decent heft to it. I've been about 0.5 off the last couple of guesses. So now it's got me really second guessing myself, but I need to hone in. And this one might be a tough one to hone in on. 3.5 inches of blade. I'm going to say it feels like it's up at like a 4. I'm going to say 4.2. No, 4.1. No, I've been wrong. 3.9. 3.9. Oh! Oh, I second guessed myself, and damn, that's pretty good though. I should have stuck with 3.9, shouldn't I? Son of a gun. Or I mean, I should have stuck with 4.2, and I went with 3.9. What a dummy. 4.2 ounces and 120 grams. And that right there, if you're not aware, is one of the many reasons I call this the arch nemesis. There's just no winning. Now we'll get the calipers out here, which is a device used to measure, and we're going to hit the handle and blade. We'll start off with the handle here, 0.47 and 12.1 millimeters. Pretty good thickness. Typically 0.5 is pretty good, especially if you have a little bit larger hand. That it is going to help in the ergos. For the blade stock, 3.6 millimeters and 144 thousandths. So the blade stock thickness, pretty healthy in my opinion for this size, almost 150 thousandths. You know, it's a little heftier than average, I would say, but it's not too overly thick by any stretch. We'll get a measurement here on the BTE, or the behind the edge measurement, and I would say that's a perfect hold, and the measurement tells me so. About 24 thousandths, and that is what we routinely see on average, is 22 to 25, and then anything getting down below 20 is starting to thin out pretty good. But let's see how this cuts out of the box. And back to the RPM 9 a little bit. This is going to be a great blade shape for EDC, pokey, piercy, going to be nice and slicey. No, RPM 9's not going to have edge retention like S90V does, nor will anything down under $100. That's just pretty much the way that it goes. But you can get steels that are pretty good in all directions, or are maybe very good in one or two things, but not so much in the other thing. Kind of like D2, right? It's got pretty damn good edge retention, and it can be pretty tough, but the corrosion resistance isn't the best, not ideal for everyone. I can say that I have tested and carried a ton of knives in RPM 9. You know, I was around before they even put RPM 9 out. I had, you know, some of their original D2, and then I've had their first RPM 9 all through the different iterations they have put it through. And as I said earlier, or I think I did, I've always found it to be a pretty good steal for 50, 60 bucks, and I stand by that. And when you can pick up like their pyrite for 30 bucks in the RPM 9 and FRN. No, maybe that's not something that somebody who is used to titanium and super steels, but for people who, you know, enjoy knives down under $75 or even $100, a $30 banger like the Pyrite for $30 is really hard to beat. I would say that's hard to beat for anyone because that gives you a good quality knife that you can beat on and, you know, not have to worry about it. And I would put this in a similar category, you know, a little bit more money, but a much more substantial knife than something like the Pyrite Light is going to be much more substantial. Also, the lock is going to be more substantial, perfectly centered up there. And this bad boy has a beautiful detent, by the way, nice and strong. The other cool thing about this knife, I wanted to weed out some of the people that I don't like. Just kidding. We actually are going to be giving away a new Latitude here coming up, most likely on July 11th. That is when we are having the shindig for the GBall Vision channel, celebrating 25,000 subscribers. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. A lot of people have no idea that I do live streams every Saturday. It's not something I advertise a ton. It's not something I say in my normal videos much. T8 all the way around with the exception of the clip, still T6 there. I'd like to see T8. But not only are we giving away a Latitude, I'm going to be giving away up to like 14 plus knives that night. There is going to be a general giveaway for the public, and then most likely the following giveaways are going to be for the members of the channel. That is pretty much who I take care of. They are the heart to the channel, and I like to take care of the members, as I do pretty much every single Saturday, but this is a special occasion where we're really going to be putting in the work. We have a little bit of everything to give away, and there's a lot more to come on that as far as what's coming, what knives, what companies, when it's exactly going to be. Shooting for July 11th at 10 p.m. Eastern time, and that's what I'm going to stick with until otherwise. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you're someone who just wants to hang out on a Saturday night, you're more than welcome to stop by. We hang out, chit chat about knives and gear, maybe give some stuff away, stuff like that. Have a good old time. Every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, you are more than welcome to come and hang out. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, and you can chat as much as your little heart desires. That is entirely up to you, but I'd love to have you swing by either way. Maybe it's something I should start bringing up in the videos once in a while about the live streams. Might be a good idea, but yeah, we have a good time on Saturday night. Now, we're going to run this through a couple of checks. Centering is good. Detent is beautiful. The thumb studs work really well, and they're placed in a good spot. Chamfered out nicely. You can easily reverse flick this thing. You have a big old surface there to come up underneath and shoot that blade out. And thumb flick is the same way. You can really come up underneath that stud or just throw it out from the side, whichever your little heart desires. Or you can just use the button to flick this out, kind of like an auto, right? Kind of. Without the spring, without the auto part. But yeah, you can use the button. Now we're going to introduce this fella to the spine whacker. And although this will be the first CJRB to meet the spine whacker with the button top liner lock, we've had several artisans with the button top liner lock be just fine. So I am going to expect nothing less out of this one. We'll give it a couple of tugs up and down, side to side, and it feels good, nice and tight, no movement. I'm really wrenching on it. We're going to go ahead and start off with just a light tap to get us going. And believe it or not, we've had knives fail from something such as that light tap, and that is entirely unacceptable. And that is something we make known here, and that's why we test the knives every single day, every video, every knife, no matter how cheap, no matter how expensive, no matter how pretty or ugly, it is going to meet the spine whacker and give us the information that we so crave. This sounds really good. We'll hit it with a double tap, and I think that should do it up. If you really must, if you insist, there's another double for you. It sounds really good. I don't think we're going to have any trouble out of their button top liner lock. As a matter of fact, they're one of the few companies that over the years I would trust to do a button plunge lock. They are notoriously good at button plunge locks and their crossbar locks, so I am pretty much expecting nothing less from Artisan and CJRB out of these locking systems, and I think we're in store for some good stuff with CJRB. I think they're doing all the right stuff, in my opinion, on both sides, the budget line and the premium line. I think they have had a killer year, maybe one of the best years ever in their history. They've had some cool stuff come out from Artisan and CJRB. You'll have to let me know what you think of the Latitude here. Like I said, I will have links down in the description over to this knife. There is a couple different versions to choose from at this point, and I'm sure there's going to be more in the future, and I'm sure there's going to be a premium version of this in the future as well, which should be pretty sweet. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Do me a solid, hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to be sure to see more dope knife and EDC content just like this every single day, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'll pop up a couple of new videos you haven't seen yet. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.